If you played Heavy Fire Afghanistan, then you've already got a pretty good idea of how things work.
Here's the controls for the PS3.
Here's the 360 controls.
Pretty self-explanatory, though perhaps some clarification is warranted. Fire button may be more adequately described as primary fire. When you're on foot, it fires whatever weapon you have in your hand.
Inside a vehicle,
It fires the machine gun. If you're on a turret, it fires that. The grenade button is likewise secondary fire, which coincidentally is also more explosive. When you're on foot, it throws grenades. When you're in the tank, it fires the turret. When you're in the helicopter, it fires rockets.
when you're in the AC-130, it fires shells. When you're controlling the Predator, it fires rockets.
When you're on the turret, it does jack shit. Also not listed are the motion controls, but I'll get to those. It takes time to reload, and you will be defenseless in the meantime. The time it takes to reload depends on the weapon you're using, and whether or not you have the reload upgrade. Occasionally during the game, you will get to man heavy-duty machine guns, whether they be standalone turrets,
Or if it's mounted on a vehicle, or if it fires bullets or exploding shells.
They all function the same. You can fire fully automatic without ever having to reload. However, these machine guns do overheat as you fire. The gun cools off when you're not firing it, which is helpfully indicated with a meter. If you let the meter fill up, you won't be able to fire again until the gun cools down.
Life bar has changed somewhat. It's no longer divided into blocks. Now it's just a continuous bar. Doesn't really matter.
Your primary weapons can only have a limited amount of ammo in reserve. Every time you reload, ammo is pulled from your reserve. If your weapon runs dry and you have no ammo in reserve, you switch to your secondary handgun until you can get some more. Initially, your max ammo reserve capacity is 120 bullets, but it can be increased through upgrades. You start each stage with a full load of ammo.
However, any weapons that you're scripted to use are unlimited.
Sometimes you will encounter motion-based prompts. They come in two forms, and you will sometimes have to perform an action to proceed. Sometimes you will be asked to perform a certain motion within a limited time frame. If you perform the correct action, you get a point bonus.
Now, sometimes they carry consequences for failure. In fact, usually they do. Sometimes the penalty is you simply don't get a bonus. Sometimes you'll take damage, or even die if your health is too low. Some even instantly kill you.
You don't have to beat the game in a single go. Each stage is wholly separate.
Stages have checkpoints that you can continue from should you die. They also save your status, life, ammo, grenades. They don't get replenished if you die.
Some destructible objects can be used to eliminate enemies. Barrels and gas canisters burst into flames when damaged. They will explode after a couple seconds, or if they are damaged again. Aside from the obvious explosion, sometimes they also knock down a tree to fall on even more guys.
Propane tanks and jerry cans also explode.
Cars will explode if sufficiently shot up. Pallets hanging from cranes will dump their cargo. Scaffolding comes crashing down.
Power-ups can be found.
Aside from shooting them,
You can also pick them up with environmental effects.
in most scenes you will have access to cover. Not all of them, but most of them. Cover will be in one of three directions. Sometimes you'll have a choice of cover to take place in a single scene. When you're in cover, you are afforded at least a certain degree of protection. Sometimes it's total, but usually it's only partial, meaning some enemies won't be able to hit you, but others will. But at the same token, typically you are able to shoot as well. Grenades are also available while in cover, even if you can't shoot. Whether or not you can actually hit anything is another matter. Also worth noting is you won't advance to the next area as long as you remain in cover.
A new wrinkle added to Shattered Spear is that sometimes you may have a flank instead of cover. The controls are the same, however flanks offer no protection. Even though you might not be able to see them, enemies on your flank can always hit you, unless you're in cover. When you are facing the right direction to engage flank enemies, the other enemies can still hit you. Flanks are marked with red arrows. Flanks can only be left or right, like the previous game. Shattered Spear supports up to 4 players.
Each player must use a different profile though. They'll each get their own armory unlocks.
First player is in control of cover.
The player grabs ammo. Everybody gets it. Probably for balancing reasons. If a player loses all their life, they sit the rest of the stage out.
All players get penalized if you fail a QTE. However, only one player needs to succeed.
Apparently, only the first player can earn trophies though. I don't know this personally, but that's what I hear. There is a number of upgrades besides additional weapons, but I'll cover them later.
The armory system is back.
You get upgrades by earning unlock points.
You gain an unlock point every 2 stages.
Each upgrade costs 1 point. They're divided into 4, I'll call them branches. Each branch has linear progression. You must unlock the upgrades in order. You may reset your armory and redistribute the points at any time.
Like the previous games, there are friendly units to avoid shooting. This time, however, shooting one will fail the mission. This only applies to personnel, not vehicles.
There are a number of score bonuses to get by doing various things. Here's how to get them.
Kill an enemy that's far away. However, once again, this is either glitchy or completely arbitrary. I mean, look at this. How is that guy not a long-range kill? He was further than the other guy. Shoot a terrorist in the head. Game is pretty bad at giving you credit, though.
Destroy a barrel. Destroy a gas canister. Destroy a tactical.
Destroy a certain type of truck. Not all trucks count. Destroy a tank or BTR. Destroy a vehicle that does not fall under any other category. Destroy a radio.
Destroy an object that is not one of the aforementioned. Not all destructible objects give a bonus. Kill the gunner on a tactical. Strangely, standalone machine gunners don't give this bonus. What a jip. Pick up a health power-up when your health bar is full. Pick up a grenade power-up when you have a full load of grenades. Or pick up an ammo power-up when you have full ammo in reserve. Perform a quick time event. Kill 3 terrorists in rapid succession.
Roger that out.
Kill 4 terrorists in rapid succession. Kill at least 5 terrorists in rapid succession. There's actually several versions of these, the last number corresponding to how many kills you managed to get. Starting with proper power-ups. This fully replenishes your life bar. This fully replenishes your ammo reserve. However, it does not reload your magazine. This fully replenishes your grenade pouch. Now as for your weapons, I don't know what it is, but you'll always have a handgun on your person. You'll only use it if you have no primary ammo. As you might expect, it's not a weapon you'll want to use. It's only a single shot weapon, which automatically makes it worse than all the fully automatic primary weapons. At least it reloads fast. 15 rounds in the magazine. It has unlimited ammo, but if you could run out of pistol ammo, that would really suck. Grenades are also part of your starting inventory. You throw them and they explode after a while.
Clear.
Sometimes they seem to blow early. I don't really know. Grenades will bounce off solid objects. They travel in an arc, so if you're going to throw far, you're going to have to aim higher. Initially, you can only carry 1 at a time, but you can increase it through your armory upgrades.
I have no idea what this weapon is supposed to be.
Nothing much to say. Got a 30-round magazine. Has the fastest reload. Getting into your actual upgrades. First up on the bottom branch.
Hybrid glove. Faster reloads. Well, it kind of explains itself.
This cuts the time it takes to reload your weapon in half. So the longer it takes to reload, the more noticeable the effect is. Not a big deal for the earlier weapons, but you'll definitely want it when you get the machine gun.
Next up on the bottom branch. Bulletproof vest. 2 extra lives. Which is weird because you don't actually have lives anymore. I guess it translates to an equivalent amount of life, but I don't know what it is. Suffice it to say, it increases your life bar. Next is ballistic ceramic plate, 4 extra lives. Again, it extends your life bar.
This branch deals with weapons. First up is
the SCAR machine gun. SCAR? I don't know if you're supposed to spell it out. That ain't a machine gun.
It's got a 30-round magazine. Slightly faster rate of fire, takes slightly longer to reload. Honestly, the difference is negligible.
Then there's KSG pump action shotgun. Well, here's something new. Fully automatic shotgun. Fires a spread of pellets, so you don't quite have to be as accurate with your shots. Also useful for taking down groups of enemies. However, it has the slowest rate of fire among all the primary weapons. It only holds 15 shells at a time. It also has a longer reload time.
And at the top we have
M249 machine gun.
Now this is a real machine gun.
Sadly though, it's not as good as the M260 from the previous game. It only carries 80 bullets this time around, which is kind of weak for a machine gun, but it's still twice as much ammo as its nearest competitor.
However, this all comes at a cost. It has the longest reload time by far. This thing takes an eternity to reload if you don't have the upgrade, so you really don't want to reload unless you have to. You'll only want to load this thing when you're safely in cover. The next branch is all grenades. First up,
increase grenade capacity to 3. Does exactly what it says.
This is one.
Then there's
increase grenade capacity to 5. Ditto.
And then finally we have
increase grenade capacity to 7. I forget what this one does.
Top branch all deals with your ammo reserve. First up,
2 extra magazines. Not very accurate because the weapons use different magazines. Or they don't even use magazines at all. More specifically, it increases your maximum ammo capacity to 180 bullets.
Then there's
4 extra magazines.
Increases your ammo capacity to 240. And then finally we have
6 extra magazines,
which increases your ammo capacity to 300. Terrorists serve as your garden variety enemies. They shoot at you and sometimes they hit. Some terrorists have reached a higher stage of evolution and can take cover.
They don't blind fire anymore, but they still have to reload.
A good time to shoot them. Some terrorists aren't even threats at all and don't need to be killed. Sometimes terrorists will be manning machine guns, either on a standalone turret or mounted on a tactical. Machine guns are very dangerous on account of the fact that they can hit you repeatedly in a short amount of time. The number of bursts they fire and the duration for which they fire will vary. Fortunately, they have to warm up first, and they make a lot of noise doing so. Terrorists themselves die with a single hit, like any other. Turrets do a pretty good job of covering them, so you may want to use explosives, like say the tactical they might be standing on. Some terrorists use knives. You'll always encounter these guys when you're on the move to new areas.
Watch out!
They attack with a series of 3 slashes. They will then pause for a very amount of time before attacking again, if for some reason you haven't already killed them.
Or you're even still alive, because this time around they do a lot of damage per stab. If you're not at full health, you'll probably be dead.
The most dangerous enemy in the game. Know who to shoot first. Certainly more efficient to target enemies that are more likely to hit you first. Enemies that are taking cover or reloading are not immediate threats. This is paramount when you don't have cover. Use cover to your benefit as much as possible. This isn't Time Crisis. Cover is useful for a lot more than just simply avoiding incoming damage. Cover allows you to divide and conquer your enemies. There's no reason to let 10 people shoot at you at once when you can cut that number down to 5 or less. This is doubly important because cover is not always 100% safe. At the very least, you want to eliminate any enemies who can shoot you when you're in cover to allow you to safely reload, or just hide. It really sucks when you try to take cover and the enemy still can hit you. Sometimes you can just barely hit enemies without them being able to hit you in return. Sometimes you can hit environmental kills or pick up power-ups from the safety of cover. What's more is you can always use your grenades, even if you can't shoot, though you won't always be able to hit anything either. Try to be creative. Bounce them off walls to get them to your enemies. I make it a habit to always take cover at the start of each scene.
In the previous game, it was a good idea to reload when you were en route from one area to the other.
You'll be reloaded by the time you need it, the only exception being the machine gun.
While it's still a decent idea here, I found there were a lot more points where I got caught out, so I found myself reloading before clearing a scene a lot more often.
The fact that you won't move to the next area until you emerge from cover can be very useful. For the most part, you can set up your armory however you see fit. My personal recommendation for the armory is to evenly spread your points out. Every upgrade is useful in some way, so you'll appreciate having a well-rounded armory. Although to start off, you should upgrade your ammo and grenade capacity first. Your gun and reload can come next. They're not that important yet, but if you're really struggling on a stage, you can redistribute them more strategically. Some upgrades are completely worthless on some stages. Otherwise, I would suggest throwing your points onto grenades. They are super useful and you will get far more bang out of your buck. In fact, some say those are the first things you should upgrade, but I find this overkill unless you're really struggling.
Unlike the previous game, ammo is pretty plentiful. Unless you haven't invested in any upgrades, you'll probably never have to worry about running out. But if you are worried, you can always top off your weapons before you pick up ammo.
On the one hand, machine guns are dangerous because they can make Swiss cheese out of your ass. But on the other hand, machine guns also give you plenty of warning before they open fire. Sometimes they even follow patterns, which almost negates their threat. You might find the regular terrorists are worth taking out first, because you can't predict when they'll hit you.
QuickTime events are not picky about what direction you swing at all. I literally just did the same motion every single time. Never failed.
Now there are some obvious things like unlocking levels, and some redundant things like upgrades, but I won't talk about them because that would be obvious and redundant. There's a number of ranks in the game. Ranks are rewards in and of themselves. They don't give any other sort of benefit. You get promoted when your completion reaches certain percentages.
The achievement system is back.
PS3 version calls them trophies and integrates them with the trophy system. Progress is tracked in-game and not by your PSN profile. Of course, the PS3 has an extra achievement / trophy, the Platinum, for collecting all the others. Most of these trophies are self-explanatory, so I'll just let the screen speak for itself.
Many of the trophies are earned by completing specific stages.
Just for clarification, there is no in-game difficulty setting. This will be your first run through the game. Once you've completed all the stages, you can replay them on the Veteran Tour. Things will be harder on the Veteran Tour. Now these trophies are all cumulative. See above. Curious title. Was that game already in the pipeline? No need to worry about any of these.
I think you have to kill 1,000 people to even beat the game.
Yep, exactly what it says. You gotta shoot motherfuckers in the head. Depending on how you play, you may or may not get this normally. But if you need more, best way to rack these up would be to play on the rookie stages, specifically the earlier ones, because they're easier. Obviously, it's a lot easier to shoot people in the head when you don't have to worry about surviving.
These trophies are for getting simultaneous kills. This is almost impossible to miss, unless you're off-center with your shots. This one's either glitchy or confusing. The key word is consecutive. You cannot kill everybody at once. I can see on my profile, I got the trophy for 6 simultaneous kills, but I did not get the trophy for 5 chain kills. You will not find 10 terrorists to kill at any given time very often in this game. Best place to do it would be Mission 5. There will be a few points where you'll have enough targets. The easiest time, however, would be this part. First you gotta wait for all these guys to get into position. Then you just blow them all up. If you mess it up, you can shoot your teammates and restart. The next few trophies involve destroying radios found throughout the game. 8 of the 12 stages have a radio. However, you also must destroy the radios again on your veteran run, so it's actually 16. For those of you who aren't math geniuses, 50% would be 8 radios, so you would earn it after beating the game the first time if you've been vigilant. 75% would be 12 radios. Unfortunately, this trophy tends to glitch and not save your progress. You'll probably have to destroy all the radios in a single session. At least the good news is you can just simply use Mission Select, and you can just simply destroy the radio, reach a checkpoint, and then quit. Here's the quick demonstration.
The task is easy enough. Just have to fire a whole lot of bullets. Doesn't matter where they go. However, 25,000 bullets is a fucking lot. You'll undoubtedly beat everything else before you fire off that much ammo.
Best place to rack up bullets would be Mission 8. You've got a machine gun with unlimited ammo, and there's a few parts where you won't advance unless you do something.
I guess this is one of those mockery trophies. 5% accuracy is pretty fucking low. You almost have to try to get accuracy that low. If you can get this naturally, may God have mercy on your soul.
Best place to earn this would probably be Mission 11. You only need to destroy a couple of tanks, so as long as you just fire a bunch of shots to counteract that, you'll have a low accuracy.
Take 'em out.
You can beat the stage by only landing 17 hits. I don't know if any splash damage kills factor in. Strangely, there's only 2 trophies for scoring long-range kills. You won't need to grind these. You'll get 50 in one playthrough.
Not quite sure what they define as a destructible object. Could be anything. Or it might be the more innocuous stuff. At any rate, it's still easy. Just shoot up everything.
you'll rack up plenty of collateral damage without even trying.
It's
Although
clear.
1,000 is a lot, so you might have to grind this. As far as actual cheats go,
Once again, if heavy fire is too much for you, you can make things easier by bringing on an additional player or 2, or 3. Even if you don't have another friend to help you out, you can just simply use the extra players as bullet shields. Alright, you're ready for the game. See you in the walkthrough.